Hi everyone, welcome in. Um, Hi everyone, welcome in. Donations are open, no free readings. Welcome in everyone, donations are open. There are no free readings, guys. Please like the stream if you're in here. And this is going to be a short live because I'll be heading out around 1. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Welcome in. Welcome in. Please like the stream if you're in here. Gotta put this to charge too. Are you charging? You're charging. Oh, I need to twist this. Hi everyone, welcome in. Who's in here, guys? Talk to me. Why are you guys just hearing me breathe? Hearing the background noise? Um, Oh wait, I am. Hi guys, my bad. All right, Black Widow, you can go ahead and post. Sorry, I was mute. I didn't even notice. So welcome in everyone. Please like the stream. There are no free readings, but donations are open. I will be leaving. I have to leave by 1, so I won't be on here long. Okay, you could post your question. Yeah, it was me. I was muted. All right, you know what? I'm gonna change the deck. Give me a second. All right, let's see. I was like, here I go again with this. Oh no. Yeah, I was muted. All right, so let's see. What lessons does Black Widow still need to learn this year? All right, you have the 3 of Air, the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so right away I heard take time to heal. So healing to me is not necessarily like I have to like do all this work, right? Like you can still live your life while still doing your inner work, right? Um and it's for me it's like forgiveness. Like there needs to be forgiveness. I feel like a lot of people feel like I don't need to forgive anything. I can just continue to live my life, but I feel like grudges also hold you back. So like I'm not saying that you hold grudges, I'm just giving you an example. To me is like taking time to heal. Like if there is like and to heal for me I feel like taking time to feel. So like if something happens that made you feel some type of way, instead of like brushing it under the rugs, just address it, because the sooner you address it, it's just that's it, right? You acknowledged it, it is what it is, or like however you want to process that, and then just let it be, right? Because a lot of times what we do is we keep brushing things under the rug and then we never address them, and eventually they're going to come out, right? Because I always say this, like it's not people teaching you lessons, or it's not the circumstances itself, it's life is showing you, especially if you've been going through like repeated cycles. So something to like pay attention to. You have the wheel here. It is talking about a positive change coming from that. So I feel like I know it's hard to like, cause for real, at least for me, I feel like healing is, or admitting that you feel some type of way about something. So let's just say you're dating this guy, right? And it's short lived, but you realize that you have developed feelings and now things have crumbled, right? Or there's a breakup. It's okay to acknowledge that you felt feelings. And I feel like when you acknowledge your feelings, you honor yourself, right? And it does bring positive change, because at least you know that. I feel like the more we try to hide things, like I said, they just keep showing up. So the Wheel of Fortune does talk about you having to just kind of like, again, just sit in your feelings, process them, don't unpack and stay there, obviously, but it does bring positive change, right? They're saying there's good fortune on your side, and I feel like there's gonna be like a situation, or maybe like several situations for you that are going to suddenly move forward. I feel like it's with your finances, 'cause I do have the 10 of earth here. But the 10 of earth also tells me that there's going to be some financial security here. So even financial loss could bring grief, right? Financial worries bring grief, but just acknowledge the things. Sometimes we like to overspend, and then we'll be like, fuck, I should have never spent that money. So it's just give yourself grace is what I want to say. They're saying that you need to find more magic in the little things in life. So not just big wins, acknowledge the small wins. Even like, let's just say you were feeling down for like 2 days and you had the next 3 days you're feeling up and then you just feel down again. Don't just act like, or don't treat like those 3 days that you were feeling up and vibrant didn't mean anything. All right, let's see. The King of Air, high karma for you. Please, guys, like the stream when you come in. FYI, there are no free readings. The Page of Air, the Seven of Water. The King of Air is someone who's brilliant, very diplomatic, but very brilliant, right? They're saying you need to speak your mind with confidence, right? Not speak your mind with confidence is like, to me, I feel, oh my God, we got something like this for you, I think, in your reading yesterday. So you may be in that energy of like feeling very confident. Like there's also saying balance your mental and emotional considerations. So this is for me, like I have a card on one of my decks, the moon deck, where it talks about balancing out spirituality and practicality. And I feel like that's exactly what mental and emotional balance is, right? We're physical, we're human beings, right? So we're having a physical experience. And again, you're going to have situations that come up, but if you just keep dwelling on them, I think that that's the hold back, right? Like that's what keeps you keeping you in cycles is what I would say. I feel like there are cycles here because the wheel is here too. I feel like just again speaking your mind with confidence and being confident within yourself, but also like I said, spirit balancing out your emotional and your mental. So like your logic and your spiritual. You have like I said, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So it's like use both experiences to benefit you and not where you're battling both, right? I think a lot of people sometimes, especially when we're into tarot, I know it's happened to me before where I just for a long time everything was tarot, everything was the spiritual side, right? But it was kind of like it will cause friction with my physical side, right? My practical side, because I'm not seeing what I'm seeing on the spiritual side in the physical world. But what I've learned is the physical world will eventually catch up as long as you just keep going. So I think that there's a need for balance with that. The Page of Air is here where it's, for me, there could be some delays or changes to plans that come up for you. So just again, I wouldn't even say it's a delay. I would just say it's a change of plan for the moment, right? A lot of times I think maybe again it's like you're staying stuck. To me, I feel like what they're saying, like you're staying stuck in your logic, and sometimes you have to get out of, maybe that's what it is. You have to balance more your logic rather than your spiritual side, because our logic is going to want to make sense of what we're feeling spiritually or in our minds, and it's like you don't have to make logic of it, you just keep going. The Seven of Water is here. To me, this talks about complex decisions. They're saying stop procrastinating. They're also saying need to do more research when you're entering certain projects, or like you're trying new things. There needs to be more research. Don't just go with it because it sounds good, if that makes sense. Like don't, but they're also saying don't procrastinate on taking the steps to make something happen. So again, I do feel like this is like balancing your logic and your spiritual side. And I feel like you're more in your logic because I have three cards, three air cards, and that's usually our logic, right? It don't, like I said, your like, all right, again, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. The human body, or the consciousness, that's our ego starts to come in, right? So let's just say you say, I'm going to I'm trying to think, like with like losing weight, right? You're losing weight, and then suddenly you don't see the scales moving. You're doing everything that you need to do, but the scale's not moving. You haven't lost any inches. You haven't, all you have to do is change. And I'm giving you this example because this happened to me last year. In December, I noticed from August to December, I lost a lot of weight and I could see it. Then my scale kind of just slowed down. My inches slow down. what I had to do was I was doing cardio that whole time. I added these 15-minute workouts with like, my mat, like little dumbbells, like doing little exercises like that. And let me tell you, I not only did I see the scale go down a lot more, but I also saw my physical shape like just change completely, and it felt like almost overnight. And it was so I just you just have to tweak things, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you see a delay in anything, it's not that it's over and done, right? And I use the weight because I know you mentioned you lost weight, and that's something I could like identify with last year. It doesn't mean that it's over, like you're doing something wrong. You just have to tweak it, right? And that's what they're saying too with like life in general. Like when it comes to your money, when it comes to like, any situation, you may just have to tweak something, right? Because we're constantly evolving anyways. I don't know anyone that's been working out for years and they've been doing the same workouts. I don't know a single person like that. So, you have the Seven of Fire. The Seven of Fire is like also too like defending your beliefs and decisions, standing your ground, and also choosing your battles wisely. I feel like sometimes we let people. I like to use myself as an example because it's what how spirit makes sense to me. Not make sense to me, but how I could deliver the message. Like, I learned that telling people or talking to people about certain things, people that are not like-minded like me, it's a fucking no-go. Because even with, like, the other day I was having like, I was like, damn, I need to talk to someone, but I needed someone that's I would say that I can learn from, right? And I'm like, shit, who? Like, who's like minded like me that I can learn from, like, that can give me some information right now because that's what I needed. And I couldn't. So I just went, like, and I just started researching, like, and I found some stuff that my old coach gave me where I found my answer, right? And because I knew in that moment I can't call my sister, and not saying that she's not intelligent, but she's not in the community that I'm in. Like, when it comes to like how I understand that our thoughts create, she to only to a certain extent she understands that. None of my best friends do. So it was like talking to them is a no go because, like I said, it's not that I don't mind their opinions, but their opinions is not gonna go with what I know, right? So then I had my one of my clients came, and she's Christian, but she believes in manifestation. She's like, it's in the Bible and stuff like that. So me and her, when we had a conversation, like, it just felt so good. Like, I was like, I felt free because I was like, I felt like I was just the only one in my circle that is like, I'm standing out, right? So I would say, like, even with your plans, like, being mindful of who you're telling stuff to, because they don't have your same thoughts, they don't have your same goals, they don't have your same ideas. And a lot of times when people don't have the same goals, or like even the same grind, or they don't even have the same, I would say, what is that called, the fire in them, they can definitely like cause doubt. So definitely, like, keeping your business to yourself unless you're talking to like-minded people. Because, like, even when I had like my lip glosses, like, I never told anyone. The only person that knew was my guy best friend, right? And everybody found out until afterwards. Not that I felt like anyone was hating, but they're not gonna understand. When I started adding stuff, I remember one of my friends said, where are you gonna store all of that? So then I'm like, I didn't even think about that. And then I was like, you know what, why the fuck would I let what she thinks or say make me not want to add anything? I just kept adding stuff. So you just have to be maybe like strong minded with that, because I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna show. Life will try to show you shit just to see if you're gonna react to it. So I would definitely say, like, defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, and like literally just choose your battles wisely. If you're going back and forth with someone about beliefs or something that you really, really are like headstrong on, just leave it alone. It's not worth it. It's not. I remember one of my best friends said, she's like, yeah, I don't want to do that because to me it feels like it's manipulating. So you rather have, I literally straight up to her, I said, you rather have shitty thoughts, right? That are not even real, because let's be honest, a lot of our shitty thoughts are not, stuff that is not even happening, versus good thoughts that could kind of like counter, like, kind of just push that to the side. I'd rather be, you know what, I straight up told her, I said, I'd rather be delusional for a little bit than to be fucking miserable. And that's just the truth. Like, you're not manipulating anything, because at the end of the day, even when you're thinking bad thoughts, then you're manipulating too, right? So why not do it in your favor? So that's where I was going with that. Like, have like-minded people around. You need like-minded people. Um, I feel the need to look within, because I feel like I can shift my circumstances. When I go to others, they just don't. Yeah, they don't understand. I'm telling you, like, even with the tarot community, I don't knock anyone, but I only go specifically to certain people, and they're spiritual being, like, they're spiritual. One of them is actually a spiritual counselor, and the other one, and she has put out information where I'm like, I resonate with that, even though she's saying it more in a, maybe like a biblical way, but I can understand it in my own way, right? And in my other one, she has her clairessence. Outside of that, like, I try not to go to too many tarot readers, because they believe in free will, and in my reality, I don't believe in free will. I don't believe that anyone has free will in my reality, except for me. They could have it in their reality, but in mine, you don't have free will. So there's like certain things that, or a lot of them do believe that, like, what's meant to be will be. I don't apply to that, because my thing is this, right? If like, let's say, buying a car, right? If you want to buy a Range Rover, and then you decided that, you know what, I don't want a Range Rover, I want a Benz, you changed that, right? You changed your mind. It wasn't that it was meant for you to get a Benz instead. No, it was because you decided in that moment, you know what, I don't really want a Benz. I mean, I don't want a Range Rover anymore. I want a Benz. Like, I wanted a Lincoln 3 years ago. I want a completely different car now. So you get what I changed that. Not it wasn't life that changed it. So I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they're giving their control to outside sources way more than they're given to themselves when they are the source. So that's where I was going with that. Sorry, I know this was like long, but what you've been telling me for a while, girl, I'm starting to get it. It's clicking out. Yeah, it takes a little while, because I think we're so used to, and I, no offense to anyone, because I've been there too. I be there sometimes too. We're so used to, like, being victims to our circumstances, because that's what it is, right? It's like, oh, life happened to me, but it's like, when you think back on some choices, or even the way we were thinking at the time, how we were moving, yeah, life was just reflecting what we were saying and doing, you know. Um, the Queen of Water is here, right? And to me, this feels like trusting your intuition more, right? Care for yourself more. They're saying care for others too, but I feel like this is more about you trusting your intuition. And to me, intuition is your inner voice. It's not always, I will always say, like, check with yourself. Is this my intuition, or is this my ego? Because sometimes your ego can disguise itself as intuition, and as long as you're persisting in your new story, it doesn't fucking matter what's happening. Just keep going. You have the Lovers. To me, the Lovers, you could have also too, like, there's, I feel like when you start to develop more trust in yourself, then maybe there's a need to trust more in yourself and your decision making, because that's a hard one too. That's something I had to learn. Like, if I can't trust myself, like, a lot of, to me, I feel like it's not necessarily about trusting the other person in front of me. It was more about trusting that I am making a good decision with bringing this person into my life. It wasn't the person, it was more so me. And that's something, like I said, I had to go back on some things this year where I was like, okay, what was I like, I don't trust, and it was, I don't trust myself to make certain decisions because of decisions I made in the past. So, like, going back and, like, bringing basically, to me, is like bringing the power back to you. And I feel like it's gonna help also, like, your intimate relationship. So I feel like getting back to, like, trusting you, like, when you make decisions, being like, yeah, this is a good decision, right? Like, I don't do business, or I don't do, like, make certain decisions unless I, like, think them through, right? Certain things, right? But, like, yesterday, my guy best friend texted me. He wants me to go somewhere with him and his wife on Sunday. He's like, are you down or whatever? Like, we getting a table. I didn't even second guess it. Like, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, just let me know how much. He's like, no, we got you, whatever. But you see, like, some decisions you can just make on the spot, but then there's some decisions that you do gotta go within. So just trusting yourself when you make decisions, whether you made them on the spot, or you took a little time to make them. There's nothing wrong with taking time. I'm also seeing good health, so I don't really feel like you're learning too many, like, lessons per se outside of you. Um, you do have good health here, so just FYI. You have the Eight of Fire. Yeah, see, I feel like if you work on these things like that, like trusting yourself, like listening to your inner voice, being mindful of like, what you're consuming. Like I tell people all the time, I know this might sound stupid to them, but I don't listen to sad love songs. I don't want to listen to sad love songs because to me, I feel like, when you zone out to music, sometimes you'll zone out to like a bad experience, right? Especially some sad stuff. I don't like to watch sad movies like that either. I try not to indulge in like negative conversations, negative behaviors, like people that talk about men ain't shit. Like I don't indulge in that kind of stuff. I don't really entertain it at all because to me, I feel like you're just feeding BS to yourself. So being mindful of like also too, because good health to me can be mean that too. Being mindful of what you're feeding yourself, like conversations that you're having. It's okay to just be like, yeah, no, I don't really want to have this. It's a little draining, and that's okay. Says I've been on my health journey and turning into, yeah, and you see, like I say, your mind is the same thing as your, all right, so our mind is powerful, but it's also a little stupid in a way because it believes whatever we feed it, right? Especially our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind doesn't question anything because it's not a logical mind. And even with like mental dieting, like when you're working out, right? You're not gonna work out for 2 hours and then go eat like shit um, every day. You're kind of just, you might as well not work out. So that's how I look at your mindset too. Like you could sit here and think positive for 2 hours or like, affirm, certain things. But then if throughout the rest of your day, you're having shitty thoughts or you're indulging in negative things, then you're kind of canceling out the positive stuff that you just did. Right. And it's not about toxic positivity. It's just about what you're feeding your mind. So there is this thing called a mental diet. Mental dieting is probably the most important thing in manifestation or mindset shifting because again, you could sit here and affirm for 2 hours, but if you spent 8 hours thinking negative, you completely canceled out what you just fed it, right? So being mindful of what you're feeding your mind. You do have the Eight of Fire here, which to me is about things moving fast, delays being over, just things coming in like out of nowhere. The Justice card is about, to me, is again a card of clarity and also standing for your beliefs. So I feel like there will be like little things that come up that's gonna test you, and I always say like there's no test, but it kind of is. But they may kind of test you to see if it's like, are you gonna go back to your old self? And then you have the Eight of Fire. I know I gave you an in-depth reading, but it's cool. The Eight of Fire, to me, I mean, the King of Fire is here. It's about focusing. Like, to me, the King of Fire, he has a vision and he sticks with it. So I feel like and it's talking about getting advice from someone creative, but to me, it's like getting advice from like-minded people. Again, you're not gonna get advice, medical advice from a lawyer. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I feel. So just needing to me, the King of Fire again, he when he has a vision, he's gonna stick to it, and no matter what obstacles, no matter what shows up, he's gonna overcome them because he wants to make that happen. So that is what I have for you, boo. Yeah, I think this year, I think it's gonna be more so like the rest of the year, like the back and forth that comes with wanting to change your mindset because there is going to be the ego eventually, like it starts when the ego starts to see that you're moving on, or like I would say to your old self, right? Like your old self, the old version of you starts to see that you're moving on. It starts to cling on to anything. And like the other day I was like, I don't feel worried about this anymore, but why am I worrying about this? And then I was like, oh, you know what, that's my ego. It's trying to cling on to something. So like let's just say your money starts looking good, then, and I'm not saying that to limit you, but I'm just saying what you can possibly expect, right, to prepare for. Because a lot of people try like to be like, no, nothing. Yes, it does. From my experience, it does. So if you like, if you're like feeling good about your finances, it might like try to like make you feel some type of way about your love life, or vice versa, where it's like, no, you gotta just be like, thank you, bye, I love you, girl, it's been fun, but you gotta go. So yeah, just continue to like, it's just, it's choosing, like it's literally every single day, maybe several times a day, you have to choose from your old version or your new version, and just kindly letting go of your old version is okay. Stop posting, one, Ginger, and you didn't say hi or even like my stream, and there's no free readings. I asked her if I would be able to get my car back if I called and negotiate right away. She said no, and she said it was a loss. Yeah, I think a lot of times too, a lot of tarot readers use their logical mind when they're reading. When they're doing the readings, they're using their logical mind, and that's something that I've learned. Well, that I learned right away. You can't, because spirituality is not logical, and like that's how manifest law of assumption is too. Law, like manifestation is not logical. So when you try to make logic of it, that's what causes delays and stuff like that. I literally spoke and affirmed. Yeah, you see, it's you decide. I tell people all the time, like, you decide what's real and what's not. And it's not to say that the tarot reader was wrong. She probably was really picking up on the energy, but ultimately you're the one that decides whether that's gonna be your facts or it's not. I think I have a video of how to like use tarot to your benefit when you're manifesting. So like regardless, you're gonna still persist, right? So if you get a good reading, to me is letting you know that this is the current energy you're in. Keep persisting in what you're doing, because obviously the energy is there. If the reading is not something you want to hear, it still means persist in your end goal anyways. But that's why they say, with tarot is like nothing is set in stone, because you can change reality. It's not, reality doesn't change on its own, you change it. And you gotta stop feeding the old story. That's the one thing that I noticed, like with a lot of people. They'll be like, yeah, I understand manifestation, but then you'll see them and they're still repeating the old story. If you're claiming something new, then why are you entertaining the old story? The past no longer exists. Like yesterday doesn't exist anymore, because we're in today. Like tomorrow doesn't exist yet either. But your tomorrows are shaped around your todays. So yeah, the sooner you get into the habits, the better. And thank you, Black Widow. I think I'm gonna head out. Yeah, your mind, yo, that's why I say it's not necessarily too, like, I'm gonna make a video too later, about the way I affirm, and how what I there's different ways to affirm, but what works for me that I see much like results faster, and I also feel a shift in my own energy. So I'm gonna do that later, because it's not really quantity, it's quality for me. So, you know, you're welcome, my love. Have a good day. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I will see you guys later at some point. Bye.